Hey everyone, welcome to the SAG-AFTRA Foundation's Conversations at Home program. I'm Scott Mantz. Great to see everyone as always. Now, before we are joined by our guest today, just want to let you know that the SAG-AFTRA Foundation is a nonprofit organization that relies entirely on donations to provide emergency assistance and free educational programs to SAG-AFTRA artists, of which I am a proud member. This conversation is made possible thanks to the generosity of our supporters. Over the past year, the foundation has given nearly $7 million in COVID relief to more than 7,000 performers. So if you are a SAG-AFTRA artist and you need help, please ask. And if you can help, please give. Information can be found below in the description of this video. And as always, thank you for your generosity and your support. So without further ado, the film is Tango Shalom, which is the winner of the Best Screenplay Award at the Brooklyn Film Festival. It's the winner of the narrative feature at the Artisan International World Peace Initiative. It is the winner of Best Story at the Long Island International Film Festival. And we are joined by the cast of Tango Shalom for this conversation at home. Please welcome actors Jos Laniado, Lainie, Kazan, Marci, Judi, Beecher, Renée, Taylor, and Claudio Laniado. Welcome everyone to the SAG-AFTRA Foundation conversation. How excited are we to be here?
Yes.
Okay, well, the first question I want to start. Let's go to Marci. How did this come about for you? What was your first take on the screenplay?
Well, first, I was asked to audition actually for a different role. And then I got a call back for that role. And then eventually I got a call from Claudio. He said, I have another role I'd like to call you in for. And so that's how I wound up getting the role of Marina Zlotkin, which is Claudio's character, Rahamim's fiance and Lainie Kazan's daughter. So it was such a blast, such a real dream being on set several days in a row. Obviously I'm Jewish and I love doing projects that reflect reality. I loved working on this and every day waking up doing what I love to do. I mean, that's how I want it to be.
Of course, absolutely. And Judi, what was it that struck the film about you, about the screenplay? And I understand that you really had a big hand in getting this film made.
I actually, I met Claudio at Cannes during the Cannes Film Festival. I cast him in a film. And when he told me about his film, I read the first draft and it really touched me, the message of the film. And I loved the script as soon as I read it. So that was many years ago. And then, cut to they got the money for it, and I begged them to. I was cast in Marci's role originally. They offered me that part, and then the lead role opened up, and I begged them to let me audition. But I already had a part, so they're like, "You already have a part." It's like, "No, please, you got to let me audition for this part," because I really connected to the role. I have from the very first reading, I saw myself in that part because I had been doing the Jewish thing. I come from Long Island, I come from Great Neck, since I was a kid, and I have Hasidic people in my family in England. So I begged them, and I had 3 very tough auditions. and then I was at the Cannes Film Festival. It was 2 weeks before we were supposed to start shooting. And I got a call that they needed some help and some more money. They wanted more money for the production, and we were about to start. And they said, "Can you get us more money?" And you're in Cannes. And I just happened to have I had a couple of projects with me that I was actually trying to raise money for. And I met someone who was interested in investing in any of the projects that I did. And he said, "Which one do you want to put the money in?" So
here we are. Well, thanks for that. Listen, as a nice Jewish boy from Philly, of course of course I connected to this movie, but what I love about the film are the messages, which are universal and obviously messages that are connecting with everyone based on the awards that you've received, but also, watching a film like Tango Shalom, I'm watching a film like Coda. It's all about family. And Lainie, I want to ask about what attracted you to the role, and what was it about the messages that really appealed to you?
Well, I got this film about a year and a half before anybody, and it was given to me by Evgeny. Evgeny As, I can't pronounce his last name. And I said, I really enjoyed it. I really liked it. And then I gave it to Renée because we are such a great team together. And so I gave it to Renée and she said, I'm going to fix it up with Joe. We're going to rewrite it. So it'll be even better. So that's what she did, and she made it better, and they made it better. And then I was on board. And I did a couple of days, and it was fun, and it was an adventure. And I love working with Renée. I just adore her. And we are like sisters at the hip. We have always worked together. And we are a great comic couple. So I did it, and that's how it happened.
You definitely are a great comic couple. That is clearly obvious. Your chemistry is terrific. Renée, you have a big connection to the director of this movie, Gabriel Byrne. What is it?
Yes, he's my son.
He's your son.
I had to read for my son. And he
What was that like?
Oh, that was wonderful working with him. And I had to sleep with the writer, my husband, who wrote it, with the Laniado brothers. So I have a real family connection with this movie. And then to work with my friend Lainie, which she didn't mention, but we just are winning Best Supporting Actress at the Palm Springs Jewish Film Festival on Sunday. We're both getting awards as Best Actress. It was a tie.
Mazel tov, congratulations.
Thank you.
So
we had laughed a lot when we did the movie, even though it has a very spiritual brotherhood meaning to it. We all had a wonderful time, and we would have paid them anything to be in this movie, even though we were paid millions.
Millions, yeah. You really kept that low budget look to it. I got to say that was a really great work. Joss, what were the points of connection for you to play Moshe? You're in almost every scene of this movie. You're the heart of the film. Everybody's the heart of this film, but you got it's your evolution. It's your story. It's your hero's journey. What was that like for you? What are your points of connection for Moshe?
I go to the Chabad house on Fridays to pray for Shabbat. And during Purim time, there was, the rabbis start drinking and they start dancing. So I got, this how I got the idea of the story of, what if I'm a tango dancer, and what if this rabbi gets a message from Hashem to dance the tango? What will be the reason? I connected with this film also because it's not only a Hasidic guy who's struggling. It's about any man, any religion, any faith that is struggling in a community, in a family, and how he overcomes it, and what his faith, what he believes in. And everything gets together. If you believe in something, you just go for it. And that's what happened. It
really is a family affair. So I would love to hear about working with your brother, working with family, and really creating the family dynamic, which really feels genuine and organic and very lived in.
Oy vey.
Well, I first want to thank SAG Foundation for having us today, as well as Scott, the movie Mantz. Scott Mantz, the movie man, right? Something like that. I hope I got it right. And also all the cast today that are here. We're very thankful, grateful that Lainie, Renée, Marci, Judi are here. And Joss, my brother. I was trained as a psychiatrist, and also,
God.
and my brother always preceded me in things in acting. So I went into acting, and then eventually, when I got back home, it was a way for me to reconnect with my brother doing this project together. I lived. I was single. I still am single, just in case, and. And then my brother got married, he got 6 children, and so forth and so on. So anyway, for me, it was very exciting to get back to doing something that's meaningful. I think it's important to do things meaningful in our lives that are that can be memorable. We didn't have the big budget. We put money. Me and my brother would put a lot of the money, most of the money, and. So for us, we formed a production company called Convivencia Forever Films. The name comes from La Convivencia, which was the time before 1492, when the Muslims, the Jews, and the Christians used to live and work in peace and harmony together. So we wanted to do a project that will open doors of dialogue, enlarge the doors of dialogue, and raise the level of human consciousness. And by the way, my heart goes out to everyone who's losing their loved ones in this awful Russian-Ukrainian war, and our movie is about peace, about bringing about peace. It's about dialogue. It's about diversity. It's about equity, inclusion, interfaith dialogue. And it's so ironic that before the war started, our movie was playing in the Ukraine, in the theater, and also in Russia. And just then afterwards, the war started. And I just hope that our movie was in somehow helping, to stop this atrocious war. That's it. That's I don't know. For working with my brother was a challenge to write the screenplay, because we were like different people. I'm a little more liberal in general, and he was a more conservative, and I got a little bit of so. We made it, we did it, and then we did a whole bunch of drafts, and then we got together with Joseph Bologna in the Beverly Hills home, and then we wrote, and then he wrote alone, and then unfortunately he passed away from pancreatic cancer. We respect the fact that he had to do chemo, so it took us a while to finish all the movie and shooting it all. We actually finished in 2021 the final mix. And then we were seen by Vision Films, who was one of the judge, Kristen Bedno, who was one of the judges at Brooklyn Film Festival. She picked the movie up with Lisa Romanoff from Vision Films. They picked us up and we were distributed in the theaters for 10 weeks during the pandemic, which is a big miracle, very big miracle. Yeah. So for an independent film with low budget, we did whatever we could during the pandemic, but overall we are up there with Rotten Tomatoes at 90% audience score. I mean, the people love our movie, so I'm so glad the reaction of the people, and we're also going to be honored at UNESCO in Paris in their special peace event there in June, I think in June 2022. So I'm very pleased.
Well, Mazel Tov on all of that. Thank you so much, Marci. I want to hear about the first time that the cast members really got together, and what was it? So when you read a screenplay and you have a take on your character, that's one thing. But when you meet everybody else, when you start to get into prep and rehearsal, there are things about a performance that come out of that collaboration when you meet the actors that you are working with. How did that happen for you when you got together for the first time with everyone here?
That's a great question. First, you could tell that it was really great camaraderie on set between the different families, the Bolognas and the Laniados. And I had met Claudio back in 2012. I want to say we were working on a movie called 79 Parts, directed by Ari Taub, a mutual friend of ours, and we became closer. I knew him many, many years, but we became closer working together on that film. That was around the time of Hurricane Sandy also. Yeah. So a lot of us had known each other. I knew Judi Beecher as well, that I met her as a friend of Claudio's. I had never met Jose before. And also working with Lainie and Renée was a thrill because they're hysterical together. So, you know, you're trying not to laugh. I'm supposed to be the straight man, right? Not cracking your face because I'm reacting more and listening and you know, and it was also my first time working with Gabe as director as well. Really, but it was so much fun. It was such a joy to be with everybody because there was definite chemistry between all of us. And it was so kind of like smooth the way it all happened, you know, terrific direction, everyone's listening and just having fun and, you know, being crazy like your typical family with its problems and its conflicts. And this one doesn't get along with this one, but they really do. It's a shtick, but it's great and it worked. And I really enjoyed myself tremendously.
That's completely obvious. You know, the chemistry is so irresistible. I mean, and I hate to use this word during a pandemic, but it's infectious in all the right ways. Judi, I would love to hear your take on how getting together, you know, with everyone, especially with director Gabriel Byrne, like made you sort of see things in your performance that you didn't see when you were just reading the screenplay.
So yeah, I was really trying to just stay in my character. I was trying like the whole time and it wasn't, you know, she's not a very glamorous character. And so I had done a lot of research. Like I would spend time at the Chabad house talking to women, because it was so different from me growing up. And so yeah, I loved working with Gabe, you know, and he gave me a lot of freedom to play. And, you know, we, you know, I worked with him and I worked with Judi as well. We, you know, like workshopping the character.
Yep.
And what I also really loved was the family. It was like a real family. And I knew Marci, I knew other actors in it that thought I was responsible for casting them. I had nothing to do with it. I was like, no, we're all here. So it was just like, it really felt like a family. Yeah, it was amazing. And I loved working with Lainie and with Renée as well. It was really fun. And I don't know if they knew, a funny thing that happened with us was that when we came onto one of these Q&As, I had never been out of character with them. I was always this Hasidic woman. Like nobody ever saw me on the thing as anything other than the Hasidic woman. And then we were on a Zoom call once and nobody recognized me as me. I came on and there was, does anyone know this woman? We're like, no. But I was just normal. It was me normal. But so it was very funny. So I absolutely loved working with everybody. And even my kids, so some of my kids were, correct me if I'm wrong, Renée, so some of my kids were Joe's cousins.
Yes.
They were Joe's cousins' kids, first cousins' kids.
Yes, that was so wonderful.
Yeah, and then Jose's daughter was also my daughter.
Yeah.
So it was so beautiful. It was two families together making this movie. And then a lot of us knew each other. So it was just like this happy, big family. So, and
I mean, every movie should be like that. It was just a wonderful family because I always feel that actors are all related and we're all really in the same family.
I have to say, I brought up the movie Coda. You know, of course, that's in the conversation a lot. It's a wonderful film, and it's an Oscar nominee for Best Picture. And the conversation that we're having here about family echoes so much of what they were saying, and you could see, in the film, the family. You could see in your film the family, and of course, a lot of you are family. So Lainie, I would love to hear from your perspective what it was like working on Tango Shalom compared to working with another family dynamic on My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
It was interesting. I had to work really hard to become a Greek. I really studied very deeply to use the accent, to use hand gestures, whereby as a Jewish woman, it came so naturally to me. It was just a wonderful treat to play a Greek woman. And after a while, it was like I was speaking in their language.
Wow, that's fantastic. So Joe, I want to ask about working with Karina Smirnoff. The two of you are just fantastic together, the great chemistry, and just not just working together, but the rehearsal, the dancing, filming that final competition scene. It's just so great.
Well, it's I'm a tango dancer. I love tango, and she was amazing. She's an amazing dancer. And it's funny because we didn't know, it was hard to find a good dancer who can sing and a good singer who can dance. So I think thanks to Lainie, she introduced us to Karina Smirnoff, and she auditioned and she was in. Working with her in the film, she's like a natural. She was like, her acting was so natural. Like she'd been acting for the rest of all her life. And the dancing, now that was the difficult part, to dance with a exciting, gorgeous woman like Karina and not to touch her, guys, like in tango. It was very difficult. So what I did during rehearsal, I say, can we do a dance touching, please? Just and we rehearsed, we did actually, I did because there's something called tango blues, and we did a blues song on dancing the tango. And I heard inside of me, it was so good to feel her, for a while. And then we went back to the shooting, and I couldn't touch her anymore. But it was, but tell you, it was great working with her. It's like she's such a natural actor and dancer, and I love her so much. Thank you, Lainie.
Yeah, Lainie, tell us how that connection came to be. That's amazing.
Yeah, well, we just, because we're both dancers, we know our moves. So although we don't touch each other, we rehearse with a pillow. We rehearse with a pillow before the balloon, and to see how it works. And it's just the sensuality. Whether you didn't have to touch to be sensual in the scene.
Absolutely,
it was amazing, and we were like, we had such a connection. When we did the acting and the dancing, it was like, it was just the right place, the right time, and she I love her. It was great working with her. And
Scott,
I would like to do it again. By the way, I like this movie to go on forever. Like Marci says, it's like it's a family. It's two families together. When I played the character, I kept on every day. I woke up and I was Moshe at home.
Scott,
Like a TV series.
Yeah, there you go. Tango Shalom, the TV series. Renee, what's the picture you have in your hand there?
oh, that's my husband. I wanted him to be on the Screen Actors Guild Foundation. Joe Bologna, he was going to be a priest when he was young, and so it was very fitting that the last movie role he played was as a priest, and he was so radiant in the film. It was such a joy to act with him and be with him and to be with the whole cast and him. It was a wonderful, wonderful experience. And every time we have a screening, I swear that he comes and that he's with us.
Oh, that's really lovely. That's
my
really
my favorite scene. Actually, I had to reveal this. Is my scene is Joe. Okay, the scene when we're sitting on the bench. That scene, I was so connected to him. Right now, I'm talking to you, and I'm getting chills.
Mm-hmm.
I was so connected to him that it's like it was the right timing, and he's such a wonderful actor and person as a person. I love him.
Well, maybe we'll have Tango Shalom too. Maybe we'll have it too.
There you go. Tango Shalom too. Let's make it happen. Marci, I want to ask about Gabe as a director. What makes him a great actor's director?
Well, he's very personable. He's very affable, very likable. And he also is very complimentary. Like if he tells you that you did the right thing in a scene, like you listened and he'll tell you this, like, well, you nailed it. You nailed that. You know what I mean? He'll make you feel good about yourself, that when you're doing something right and you can feel it, right? And so that was great. There was the hardest scene that I had to do in a movie, I think, was when we were reacting to the dance competition on a screen or there was nothing there. It's kind of like what the weatherman does on television when he points to a blank screen and memorizes the entire topography of the United States. So basically, you're looking at like nothing, but he's telling us where to look. Look over here. Ooh, look over here. Oh my God, look over here. Wow, come on. Like that was hard because you have to just envision that this is the competition and you're almost there because you're watching it and you feel like you're there. That was a lot of fun. And I think really Gabe did a terrific job because he got all the families kind of like together and everyone listening to each other. Even in the scenes when we all talked at once and everything felt chaotic, he sort of glued it all together, which is really great. And not easy.
Definitely not easy. Judi, I would love to hear your take on what makes Gabe a great actress director.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with what Marci was saying. That really, he listens with he lets us play with things. And it was a big job. I mean, he did a really great job with TANGO SHALOM. It was a big job. We're like a we're like this crazy family, and kind of rein us in. You have to. There was a lot that you had to deal with. So I just think he was wonderful. He did a great job on it.
Scott, I'd like to say something.
Please do.
About not just because he's my son, but when he was a young actor, and he started when he was 18 acting, and then he became a writer, and we had somebody spiritual prophesize that he would be a director, a great director someday. And I said, oh, no, he's going to be an actor and a writer. And even he was surprised that he blossomed into a director because he was writing movies and he wanted to protect them. And that's why he became a director.
Wow.
And when he wanted me to play this conservative Jewish woman, and I usually play flashy parts. I never play, old conservative ladies, Orthodox. I didn't think I could do it. And he said, like your mother, my grandma used to be, because my mother used to cry at everything. If someone insulted someone, she cried. If she got angry, she cried. If she was happy. In that generation, women didn't have all the emotions that they were encouraged to use. They were just expected to be very passive. And that was my mother. In every situation, no matter what happened, she cried. I remember as a kid thinking, oh, someday I'm going to play her. That's so interesting.
Wow, that's fantastic. Lainie, I would love to talk to you about the prep and the rehearsal. How much rehearsal time did you all have before you started filming?
Very, very little. It's just that Renée and I know each other so well and what pushes each other's buttons, and where we're going to go to make us silly and giggle and have an argument. We've been there before, and it was wonderful. It was so easy. So I think that it happened naturally. I think it happened very naturally.
Just how about you? How did the prep and rehearsal? How much time did you have, and how to have rehearsal time on a film, especially a low budget film, is a luxury. So how much time did you have for Moshe?
Basically, once we had the script done, my brother Claudio and I, we sat down and we went through the whole script. At first we read it together, and then we kind of acted together, get the emotion coming, all this Stanislavski, whatever I had to do to get involved with the scene. And that was it, really. And then before shooting, we just rehearsed maybe once with Gabe. Gabe was so wonderful. They say he's like a natural director. He let us, like he said, let us do what he saw. I think in Moshe, it's like Joss, his my real life. I have 6 kids, I'm religious. I pray. So he said, yeah, do what you got to do. He knew that I can do this Moshe, but he was great to work with. I love it. And so rehearsing was not much. And as we say, everything came natural as two families working together. And it's like, it just happened.
Claudio, would love to hear from you. Like, how long was principal photography? How quick was the shoot?
Okay, the shoot, we started in 2015, and then we had to stop because of this. And then after that, it was later on, we had to shoot the dance scenes and so forth and so on. Then we had to stop again because Joseph Bologna, unfortunately, had pancreatic cancer. So we wanted to respect that. So it took us a while to finish shooting, and we finished the final mix 2021. So yeah, that's how long basically.
Wow. So like when this film was screening around, during the pandemic, I mean, like what was your take on how it was, even under those extremely challenging circumstances, to find an audience and to have it connect when you saw that was happening, Marci? What was your reaction to that?
Oh my God. So it helped me forget about the pandemic. No, I'm serious. I know it's hard to forget because it was happening, but I was really sick of thinking about it. And so it was really amazing just to see in 2021, festival after festival after festival, and we could get involved doing the Q&As and helping promote the film, doing some marketing. And then when it came out in the theaters in September for 11 weeks, that was the best thing that ever happened to me in my life. I just want to say that. And so, so thank you, everyone. So really it was a tremendous and terrific experience. It was such a high, and I just go to do the Q&As and go to see my friends and just kind of like live like there's no pandemic, because it just made me feel really great about it and good about life. And a lot of people just got sick of talking about the pandemic at some point, and that was that. But just it was great.
Judi, tell me about filming in New York.
About filming in New York, we filmed in Brooklyn, and we also filmed in my apartment.
Oh, wow.
And we also so I mean, New York is great to film in, and I got to know all different parts of Brooklyn. We were in Crown Heights and we were in Williamsburg. I don't know what else to say about filming in New York. It was practical filming at my place.
Yeah, of course. You gotta cut corners. You gotta take one for the team for sure. I would love to hear, Renee, about Gabe, your son. Like is he a director who likes to do a lot of takes, or just maybe a couple?
No, Lainie would say, "When are you going to film this?" And he'd say, "I already filmed it. I filmed the rehearsal. It was so alive. It was so spontaneous. You were both so full. I filmed it already. You can go home." He would just set it up, and we would think we were rehearsing, and we would just do it, and it was great. But I've known Lainie as an actress. I met her about almost 55, 60 years ago when she was Barbra Streisand's understudy in Funny Girl.
Wow.
I was the understudy for Ann Jackson, and that's how we met. We were just two young actresses at the beginning of our career, and we became friends there. We kept saying, "When are you going to go on? Call me when you go on, and I'll call you when I go on." But Lainie said no. Barbra Streisand said nobody could see me play it. So she had her mother call all the agents and everybody when she went on. And I called all the agents when I went on. And, it was so funny because everybody I called came. Mel Brooks, George Abbott, and they came and they said, gee, I don't know how anybody could, how come you had the courage to call? I said, well, I didn't think anybody would come. And they all came, and that's how I got my next Broadway show.
Wow.
And that's how I got in the producers.
Joseph, what is the takeaway that you hope people take with them after they see Tango Shalom?
Well, I believe that in those times, with the pandemics and the wars, what I want them to take away is to be kind to each other, to be kind, to connect, to try to solve the problem instead of getting away and hiding, and to just come out of your comfort zone, be kind to people, and connect.
Judi, how about for you? Takeaway for you, or for everyone that you hope everyone takes away?
To have compassion for each other, that we're all the same, that no matter what we look like, no matter what religion we are, no matter, who we are, if we're fat or thin or, purple or yellow or, Buddhist or Christian or whatever we are, that we're all the same, that we're all human beings, and that we have things to offer each other, and we should help each other.
Oh, absolutely. Marci, how about you? What do you hope people take with them?
If there's some kind of family strife, that you can talk it out no matter how difficult the problem. And yes, also adding to what Judi said, yes, we're all one, really, because we're all different, but we should embrace our differences in our humanity. Exactly.
If I may say one thing before I want to thank all the SAG actors for being part of the community of actors, the SAG Foundation. I really want to bring out our kindness and our love towards them, and give them positive feedback in terms of trying to be the best you can in the acting. Don't give up. To learn something about acting, you should never give up if you love that. If you love to do what you want to do, you got to work on it, and you got to learn. You got to take classes. You learn from everyone, and then you make your own decisions of how you're going to act. In terms of what you bring to the role. And I think that's very important.
All right, Renee, what do you got? Close us out.
I want to say, I'm Russian, and I want to say to Putin, go home. Go home to the other world and just stop it. There's great Russian actors, and Stanislavski, we're grateful to him for everything he gave us about acting, and all the great Russian actors today. We really have to stop the war.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully,
remember, always love thy neighbor.
Yeah, I'm Ukrainian. My other half, I'm German and Ukrainian. And I just think we should just send love. All of us who's listening, all of us who's on this call, just send love to Ukraine and to Russia.
I want to say make movies.
So he comes to his senses.
I want to say make movies, not war.
I love that. And hopefully he's watching and will listen. But everyone watching and listening, thank you so very much for joining us for the SAG.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you all so much.
And to everybody, the whole cast, Mazel Tov.